what we're trying to figure out, we were talking amongst ourselves before the podcast, is it just something for the set, for the animators to animate with the Iron Man suit, or is it saying that he does have another one? And back to my theory, potentially Thanos does something to him and he has to put another arc reactor into his body to stave off death.
Does he actually expel the shrapnel?
He had the surgery in Iron Man 3.
So he does get it removed?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure, because maybe it's just something that, Thanos just...
No. Which, why not have the surgery in the first place? It doesn't really make... That's kind of one of those weird...
Well, that's something that they were kicking around for a while, too, and that didn't make sense. If it was a possibility, why not just do it and get it out of the way?
And especially with Tony Stark's money, I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. No, personally, I think that Robert Downey Jr. has just gotten a taste for holes in his shirt from wearing them for years, and now he just does that. He's got a tattoo right there of an arc reactor.
Wow.
I was actually thinking about doing that myself for a while.
Well, when you're worth that much money and it's because of the Marvel movies, I'd probably do it.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean... 6 or 7 of them now? It was 3 Iron Mans.
A cameo in the second Awful Hulk movie.
If you want to count that.
I'm sure he got paid for it.
Fair enough. Yeah, if you get paid, it counts, I guess.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, it's up there, though. And I think, I'd hate to say this because I love Robert Downey Jr. And I love his portrayal of Tony Stark, but I almost kind of felt in Spider-Man: Homecoming that he's getting a little winded.
Yeah.
In the Iron Man role. It's not. His acting is great, so don't take it that way. But just it's something you just kind of. It's like this presence that he exudes. It's coming to an end.
I thought I get what you're saying, how you could see that, but I took that more of him just acting. His character was being really annoyed by this teenage punk that won't listen to him.
Potentially, yeah, that might be it. Yeah, maybe I'm just taking.
And I really liked that. I mean, not to fall back too far, but I thought the scenes where they were together and Tony Stark was almost being that father figure, building off of him losing his parents in Civil War, and really, I thought because of opening that wound in Civil War, I felt like he was a much more fatherly figure to Peter than he would have been if all of this happened before Civil War. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
No, I agree.
Because Civil War, I feel like was a big learning curve for Tony Stark, Iron Man especially, because Captain America's always been his best friend throughout this entire endeavor. Well, kind of, and then at first they didn't really, and then they, friended up and whatnot.
There's something about being frozen for years that just makes me want to be your friend.
Yeah, essentially. But after the events of
good popsicles are.
That's right. America flavored.
But after the events of Civil War, I feel like it really matured his character in, oh, well, if Captain America can just go rogue all of a sudden, what is that,
Well, the only time that I'd really sensed that is when he was, out and about, and he was calling him remotely. But, yeah, that could have just been me misinterpreting his annoyance. Or maybe, Robert Downey Jr. was actually on vacation. And you gotta do the scene and he's just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Just put these glasses on, we'll put a camera in front of you.
Just call this kid, it'll be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so further Phase 4 spec, I'm thinking that after the events of Avengers, which, wow, I can't even begin to fathom how they're going to pull all of this together.
They have so much story to gain, or to tell in so little time.
Yeah, well, they had said that Thor 3 was going to be somewhat of a lead-in into Avengers, the events of Thor 3 were going to directly impact, and we had even speculated, because Black Panther is supposed to come out before Avengers, that maybe this is taking place, that might be the thing, is Thor 3...
It's not on Earth, though, so you could have the timelines line up, and it would still be
Well, that's what I'm thinking, is Black Panther probably takes place directly after the events of Civil War as well, probably concurrent with Spider-Man.
And plus, let's face it, too, as soon as Thanos gets a hold of the Time Stone, pretty much anything goes.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's... Wow.
That might be why Robert Downey Jr. has that thing, or has the arc reactor back, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey,
that is true.
Is because he pulls him from, back in time.
Could you imagine being a writer for this? The headaches.
Oh, man. I'm already getting an ulcer just thinking about it, but...
Yeah, that's a good point, man. I didn't even think about that one, Rev.
Yeah, man.
I didn't either. Never even crossed my mind.
But my speculation is after the Avengers Infinity War Part 1, and I don't even know what they're calling the second one at this point. I don't think it's untitled at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're probably still writing that script. Best of luck to you. There's probably going to be a lot of team-up movies. That's something we have speculated on.
I think that's a good idea.
And we have also thought Spider-Man's probably going to take the lead on Avengers.
Well, it's actually been said before that Doctor Strange is going to be like the lead, like a Tony Stark kind of character.
Well, I was reading up on that. They don't even have like a Doctor Strange 2. They said they're going to do a sequel, but they don't even have like a soft release date for it yet. Like that's something that they're backburnering. So it's going to be interesting.
Maybe he'll
Doctor Strange didn't do... I mean, it didn't do bad, but it didn't do as well, from what I remember at the box office, as a lot of these have been doing. So that could be...
It resonated all right.
Yeah, it did. No, it did really well, but I don't think it had the same... Like, so... These superhero movies are guaranteed to make X amount of money based off the comic book fans. But what they make their big money on is pulling in casual fans because they're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange was kind of trippy, so I could see that it might not have pulled in as many casual fans.
I think they're at a difficult point because they want to bring in a lot of people for Avengers. We still got Ms. Marvel showing up.
Yep.
We still have a few other characters they want to rope in.
Nova.
So that I think was what happened with Doctor Strange. Is that its origin story?
Yeah.
You know, that's just everybody's getting
tired of.
Yeah, it's just too many origin stories, and it's been told before. So they had to retcon him in and have it take place before some of the events of the Marvel movies that were happening and were coming out in the same year. So I think.
See, my theory on this though is you don't necessarily have to have another Doctor Strange movie in order to feature or have him be the feature role. You know what I mean?
That could be how they use these team up movies.
Yeah, it's like. His main place of sanctuary will be like the main place of sanctuary.
It's like a hub.
Yeah, a central hub for the next phase. You know what I mean?
Just have people pop in and out.
Yeah, and all he really has to do is have have like a fill-in role. You know, he just shows up and is like, hey, you guys, this is happening and we all need to take care of this. You and you go do this. And then that's it.
Well, maybe, they do what we were talking about. Is he just kind of floats around in the background and he's got Wilson Fisk now.
Yeah.
There's your tie-in. And he just kind of floats through scene for scene in the Marvel movies, just being Doctor Strange and levitating.
Yeah.
Bring along this fat kingpin. I'm just saying, if you guys use that, I better get paid. But yeah, I could see that. Just kind of acting as like a central hub for some of these heroes, and then he just kind of drops in, drops out.
And he doesn't even have to have his own standalone movie in order to do that either. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, yeah, Iron Man hasn't had a standalone movie in 5 years.
Yeah, but he was like the foundation.
Yeah, but if you're gonna say that Doctor Strange, is the new, Tony Stark, then maybe you use that same formula and he doesn't really have his own movies. He's just kind of, that's the goatee. He's just kind of in everybody else's movies as a minor character, but he's there so often you almost feel like he's always there.
I think they're going to have to do something like that if they want to push this second movie out, because you're going to get to a point where it's like the first movie dropped like 3 or 4 years ago. Nobody cares anymore.
Yeah.
Well, they care, but it's not as much interest. You know what I mean? You got to hit while the buzz is still there.
Yeah. And I almost feel like they should do... I mean, this is kind of out of left field, but I feel like that's how they should do the Fantastic Four. You know what I mean? Once Fox gets rid... Or, somehow if they get rid of their...
That's never going to happen.
Yeah, it's never going to happen,
I thought,
but...
Sony owned the Fantastic Four as well.
No,
Fox does, right, because they have Fantastic Four and X-Men.
But, I almost feel like...
No, because they're already talking about making the next Fantastic Four.
Unfortunately,
they're gonna make it more. From what I read, they're more like kids.
Ugh.
Yeah,
That's kind of what they did in the last movie, though.
Teenagers.
They like de-aged them.
Yeah, no, these are like younger. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Fantastic Four. Sorry, those characters are not a feature film anymore.
Yeah, they're not a franchise.
You have one of your leader of your group is Stretch Armstrong.
He can't.
But
let Mr. Fantastic
and the only
off
reason
the planet, Invisible Woman disappear, thing you put in his you, and the Human Torch burned to death.
The only reason they ever beat Doctor Doom in the comics is because they gave him this massive ego. But if you set his ego aside for a second, Doom kills them every time. You know?
That's honestly, if they could salvage one thing from Fox, it's get Doctor Doom back.
Doctor Doom
was a compelling villain, but it's
yeah,
difficult
awesome.
to pitch without the Fantastic Four because they're so iconically paired.
I
but
think
see,
you could
that's
pull it off
that's
because
essentially
people are so sick of the Fantastic Four. I think if you were to negotiate something and all of a sudden, bam, Doctor Doom shows up as the villain in a Doctor Strange movie or a Spider-Man movie, people would be totally fine with that because that gives him somebody that is actually powerful enough to
challenge
him, not this group of yahoos living in a tower.
But see, that's what I was essentially saying is Fantastic Four is not able to stand on its own as a movie anymore. So what do? Fox should give up their rights and bring it back to Marvel, and then just have Fantastic Four be like popping in here and there in separate movies. It doesn't even have to be the whole Fantastic Four. Bring in like Human Torch and Thing in a movie here, and then like
most compelling too.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fantastic too. But no, and Marvel has been denying it, but I think that they're making subtle moves to try and reclaim Fantastic Four. They discontinued the comic.
Oh,
they
that's
didn't discontinue it, but they wrote them going off into space somewhere, and they're not doing.
They're part of different teams now, right?
Yeah, they're not doing like.
Oh yeah, that's them trying to choke out any.
Yes, exactly. Let's go media dead on this, and stop creating buzz around it, and then let the movies die on their own because they're 3 for 3.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man was 5 for 5, but still.
Well, the first two Spider-Man were good. Yeah.
And the one with Dr. Octopus, that one's still my
even
favorite.
3 wouldn't have been bad if they didn't insist on putting Venom in. I understand why Venom is so compelling, but they forced it on the director. That's the same thing that he said.
Oh, and then Raimi gave up. He just gave up.
Exactly.
And
I'm going to phone it in. We'll give him a new haircut and he dances.
And plus, there was too many villains in that movie at one time.
That's exactly. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because you had Sandman, you had, the Hobgoblin, their really shitty rendition of the Hobgoblin, and then... Yeah.
I thought that was
By the way, just so everybody knows, Adam here has this irrational hatred of James Franco.
We don't even understand why.
Deep. It's the Franco... I'm not going to get into it, alright? It's the Franco smile. You guys are trying to rile me up. I don't want to talk about this on air. Let's move on. I just let it be known, if you're fucking out there, you're a terrible actor. And if you laugh like that one more time, you're going to be Uncle Ben. Alright.
Okay.
Moving on.
I got dark.
Yeah.
That did get dark. Why'd we have to go there? God damn it. Alright. Anyway, if they wouldn't have insisted in tying in Venom, that formula, I think, can be pulled off. There's a way to, like, the Sinister Six, is compelling. You know what I mean? Like, we were talking about that, and like, that'd be awesome if Spider-Man faced off against that. So it's not that they put too many villains in, it's that they
did it really.
Writing. Yeah. Just
it was awful. It was awful.
Because it can be pulled off, and that's where you would bring in, like, a team-up. Like, Spider-Man teams up with somebody else, and he has to take on, like, 4 or 5 villains. So the odds are stacked against them, but I'd watch that.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Which is interesting. Who do you think is going to be Spider-Man's next team-up? Because they already said that he's going to be teaming up with a different Marvel superhero in the next Spider-Man movie.
That is a good question.
I don't think Captain America. We had speculated...
Hulk. I wish that would be Hulk.
No, I think Black Panther.
I think they're going to put him with somewhat similar...
I think you could see Kraven the Hunter being the villain.
I can see that.
Spider-Man and Black Panther teaming up to take him down.
Kraven the Hunter, or as
that would
Brad
be...
loves to say, Mysterio.
Oh my god, a Mysterio movie would be phenomenal! And especially if it was Bruce Campbell as...
be great.
As
the theory
Mysterio.
that he was Mysterio manipulating the events of the original trilogy. Have you ever heard that theory?
No.
So he's the ticket guy at the opera. He's the announcer at the wrestling tournament, and in Spider-Man 3, he's
got sick of playing with him and decided to make a shitty movie.
What is
he was a construction worker, I think?
Something, but he's always in some way manipulated the plot, his character, because he gave Spider-Man his name. He gave him his motivation in Spider-Man 2, and he did something in Spider-Man 3. I can't remember, though, but the theory was that he was going to be revealed as Mysterio the entire time in Spider-Man 4, which was planned. And
I still think that they should do it, though, because, especially because I've always been not just Mysterio, but with today's CGI, it would be amazing to see. And then let's face it, Bruce Campbell still got it.
Is it like the half fishbowl head?
It has to be.
Just do it for you.
Has to be. Has to be. But especially now, I've always been a big fan of Bruce Campbell, especially since...
best friend, and I named him Mysterio.
I think Kraven the Hunter should be the one, because I want to see... I don't want to see, for now... Doc Ock is my favorite Spider-Man villain.
Well, they already
I
said
don't
they
want...
do
I don't want to see any of the ones. I do not... Definitely, please... God forbid, I do not want to see Green Goblin again.
No,
please.
That's what they said, is they're going to try to do villains that haven't been portrayed before. So I think popular theory is either it's going to be the Sinister Six or Sinister Six. Wow.
What is this? So I'm
butchering that
really
today.
wondering where the Sinister Sticks is coming
I'm
from.
just
Who
not
are?
big fan
What are they?
of that
Just like a
band
bunch of?
Six.
What are
They're
they?
pretty sinister.
What are they? Just like a big old gang of sticks that you